Beautiful day here in North Carolina, and by that I mean it's raining. Raining pretty hard. How are you all doing in the chat here? I need some more coffee. I already had a cup of coffee, but you know, I need another one. So, y'all, we live in the most wild timeline that I've ever seen in this country. We just had a president literally cause a stock market crash, then go through and profit off of it rising up again. We have the most corruption that I've ever seen. Like, this is worse than even Nixon, in my opinion. This is worse than Nixon. The fact that Donald Trump can cause such a disaster because of his tariffs, then go through and decide to pause them, knowing that the market is going to shoot right up at the time that this is all just blatant market manipulation. It really is. Let me put this scenario out there. If you start a fire and the house starts burning down and you call the fire department and you say, "Look what I did, I saved the house." Well, yeah, but you were also the one that set it on fire, honey. That's what it's like in our country right now. Donald Trump is literally setting our country, metaphorically, on fire. And then is like, "Look, I'm fixing it." You're the one that messed it up, my dude. You're playing with people's retirement, their 401ks. And now he's literally in the Oval Office bragging to all of his buddies like, "You made a lot of money here. You made a lot of money here. It's fantastic. It's great." I'm just so over living in this timeline. Honestly, I think that Donald Trump should be removed from office because of this. Honestly, I feel like this is a high crime. This is high crimes and misdemeanors, if you ask me. This is high crimes and misdemeanors, if you ask me. Like, if you really look at this situation, just fully break it down, he literally just caused a stock market crash. And then through his bad policy, literally caused the stock market just absolutely plummet. The Dow, the S&P, NASDAQ, Apple, Starbucks, every single stock that you can think of because of these tariffs. And then he goes through and says, buy now, great time to buy, knowing that he's about to reverse his awful policy and the stock market's going to shoot right up. And unless you're a Trump insider, then you would not have been privy to any of this information. I do think that Donald Trump should be removed from office because of this. Like, I truly do. If we had a fair and balanced justice system, if Biden were to have done this, you would see people calling for him to be removed from office. Like, I feel like this is a high crimes and misdemeanors. It says in the Constitution that presidents should be removed from office for high crimes and misdemeanors. This is a high crime and misdemeanor. Literally going through, causing this absolute implosion of our global trading, our relationships we have with other countries, putting our market into an absolute tizzy for you to then, to just change your mind in order to then profit off of it. This is why members of Congress, this is why members of the Senate, this is why people in government that work in government should not be allowed to trade stocks. They shouldn't be allowed to trade stocks, y'all. It's profiting off of insider information. If you're Donald Trump, you go through with a bad policy and you cause a crisis to the point where the global stock market just starts to plummet. Then you go through knowing that if you reverse your mind, it's going to skyrocket back up. Yeah, you're holding the stock market hostage. And you're doing that just so you can profit off of it. And right-wingers think that this isn't a problem. If this was a Democrat, it would be just as much of a problem, and they literally would be calling for the heads of that person. Like, and it's just, I can't communicate it to you all enough how corrupt this is. I can't communicate it to you all how insane this is. And then being caught on camera being like, wow, he made 2.5 billion today and he made 900 million. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Put put it in context here. If you accidentally, through your recklessness, cause a fire in a house, then you call the fire department, and the fire department shows up, helping put out the fire, and then you say, oh, look, I saved the house. Okay, but you're the one that was reckless and started the fire in the first place. Am I supposed to give you a round of applause? Am I supposed to, like, give you the absolute credit? Worship your feet? Kiss them? No. Like, it's just so absurd. It's like if you are a cleaning company and you go in and vandalize someone's property in order to then be like, oh, look, someone did this awful thing. Let me just go, you know what? I have a cleaning company. I'm going to go through and, I'll even give you a discount of 25%. You can't just crash the stock market through you and like hold it hostage just for you to be able to change your mind in order to change that. Like, that is a high crime and misdemeanor. That is using your office for political gain, for personal gain. Instead of, like, the reason why people don't trust politicians is because they do crap like this. It doesn't matter your political affiliation. Throw that out the window. The us versus them, the red versus blue. This isn't about party affiliation. This is about right and wrong. This is about personal profit and personal gain versus serving the American people. The reason why I would want to go into government is because I want to serve. I want to be able to provide a policy that helps people. I want to do things that would help my constituents. I wouldn't go into it for some sort of personal gain. As long as I have the basic needs and a decent life, I don't need anything more. And the reason why people don't trust government, the reason why people are apathetic, the reason why people are like, my vote doesn't matter, is because when politicians get in office, they do crap like this. And this is why precisely we need to be involved for this very exact reason. Because you have leaders that do this kind of crap. I'm so over it. Y'all. Like, I'm just so beyond frustrated. And Trump brags in Oval Office that his billionaire pals made a killing in the stock market after he pulled the plug on the tariffs. Only he knew that he was going to reverse the decision. Maybe him and a small elite cabal group of his buddies. And he's, in the video, it says, he made 2.5 million today and he made 900 million. That's not bad. Now, actually, maybe this is controversial. When I listen to this video, I can't quite tell if he's saying billion or million for this 2.5. So I think it's billion, actually, but I can't quite know because I'm only using my own hearing to gauge it. But the fact that there are even MAGA people who are just numb. They don't care. That Donald Trump just used our stock market, used our 401ks, our retirement, our hard-earned stocks in companies to use it as a hostage in order to profit off the stock market. I don't care your political affiliation. I don't care when it comes to this. I don't care your views about anything else. If you think that this is okay, if you think that this is permissible just because you're a Republican, I am sorry, but you literally are the most unfair person ever. And you literally have no morals, no belief system, nothing. You don't. If you think that this kind of crap is okay, if you think this kind of corruption is okay, I don't know what to say to you. We live in the United States of America, a country that's supposed to be founded upon egalitarianism, morals, equality, equity, giving everyone a fair chance. What this does, this insider trading is the most corruption I've seen ever. It shouldn't matter your affiliation. It shouldn't matter what you think about other issues. If you think that this is somehow okay for a president to literally institute a super awful policy, knowing it will absolutely crush the stock market, crush global markets, completely sever our relationships with other countries, our countries, in order to then just destroy it burn the house down in order to then be like, oh, look, I'm a firefighter. Let me go in and fix it. I'll even do it for a little bit of money if you give it to me. You can't just cause a crisis, then benefit off of being the solution to that crisis. That is the worst part of capitalism. And if Biden were to do this, it would be just as bad. It'd be just as illegal, just as impermissible. It doesn't matter your political affiliation. If you are okay with this kind of crap, just because it's opportunistic for you to pledge your allegiance to a political party instead of a cause, then I'm sorry. You have no morals, no belief system. You literally are just a useless vessel for MAGA. Congratulations, you're a robot. Congratulations, you have no critical thinking. Congratulations, you've stripped yourself of all of your autonomy, all of it. I'm so over it. I'm so over it that there are people who think this is somehow okay. Like, are you enjoying licking Trump's feet that much? I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for all of us. The biggest divide in this country is between the top, like Trump, and the rest of us. Just thinking about, like, and this is where I come into it with empathy here. I know people who personally lost some money because of this. I know people whose personal 401k and retirement were affected by this. And, like, these people don't care. MAGA uses their followers as useless tools and vessels for their own gain. The Democrats are at least trying to inform you about it. They're at least trying to inform you about, hey, you shouldn't be treated that way. Yeah, you probably vote against my human rights, but you shouldn't be treated that way. It's unbelievable. And the fact that this is just, like, caught on camera it's like Looney Tunes style absurdity. MAGA has turned absurdity and absolute corruption into the pinnacle of their brand. And you know why some of you MAGA chest thumpers in the chat here follow him? Because you want to be him. You want to do that. You don't care that it's corrupt. You don't care about the principle of literally disservicing you, because you have this idea that one day, if you are as corrupt and as awful as Trump, that you're going to get there, right? That's your ideology. That's your belief system. You're going to do exactly what Donald Trump does. Have no morals, no empathy, none whatsoever. Yeah, sure. See how that works out for you when you are literally just your quality of life is just going down and down and down. There are some people who are so loyal and so stubborn to the point where it doesn't matter that they've been nickel and dimed. They still hold open their mouth in order for Donald Trump to feed them whatever he wants. Like, have some respect for yourself. Have some respect for yourself. I'm saying this as someone who was raised a Christian conservative MAGA person. Have some respect for yourself. Think critically for yourself. I'm from North Carolina. I was raised by people who watched Fox News religiously. I was told what to believe, I wasn't taught how to think critically. None of that. When I'm seeing this kind of stuff, it really is using those people. MAGA uses you. MAGA uses their people. Trump uses MAGA for whatever he wants. He knows that you're just going to completely give up your own autonomy whatsoever. Whatever he puts out on Truth Social, you lap up like a dog. You do. And I'm saying you don't have to do that. You don't have to blindly trust in anyone. And then you're going to say, oh, will you do that for Biden? No, I don't. No, Democrats, why do you think that we even replaced Biden at that late date? We're like, oh yeah, maybe there is a point here. Maybe we should replace Biden. A lot of the projection of no, you is really like telling, because conservatives can't face that information. So that all being said, let me just break everything down here. For those people who do not know, Donald Trump literally, just with his bad policy, his tariffs, plummets the stock market, makes it go down so fast, makes it just plummet boom, the Dow, the S&P, NASDAQ, Apple, Starbucks, FedEx, Tesla, all of it just starts going down, plummeting, to the point where it's historic how low it is. And as it starts going down, Donald Trump starts being like, now that the stock market is going down, he puts out on his Truth Social, because of his tariffs, the policy he pushed for with these tariffs, it starts going boo, pew, boom. He decides, he's the only one who thinks about it. He's like, you know what? I'm going to pause these tariffs. You know what that's going to do? That's going to shoot the stock market up. He tells his elite cabal of whoever are in his inner circle and friends that he's going to do this. And they start buying stocks. They start buying all of this stuff. And after he pauses, after he puts out the fire that he created, then the stock market shoots right up and these people get super wealthy, super rich. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's insider trading. The definition of insider trading is when a person of power has the ability to influence and has information that is not accessible to everyone so that they profit off of their position. That's what insider trading is. Members of Congress trading stocks is insider trading. It's insider information. Members of Congress are privy to reports, public and private, but definitely private reports about how markets are going to perform. For them to, whether it's Nancy Pelosi, whether it's Chuck Schumer, whether it's my own Senator Tom Tillis, or any sort of other Republican, doesn't matter. It's the opportunistic value of these people that go in and they're privy to private knowledge, not public. And they can go through and buy stocks, sell stocks, whatever is going to be helpful. Do you remember the names Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue? These were two Republican senators from Georgia. They went through and they were so privy to so much information regarding how COVID would affect the pandemic that they went through and they made a killing on the stock market. They made an absolute killing because you know what they did? They started investing in all these stocks of companies that were going to do really, really well and selling off the ones that weren't. So it's really, really crazy how we haven't passed banning members of Congress or even government officials from trading stock. What the current rules are, there was kind of a compromise that was made. Under the Obama years, they were trying to actually ban members of Congress from trading stocks. Well, if you want to critique Obama, he didn't get it done. Well, guess what? Trump didn't even try. You can say Biden didn't even try. But also there are a whole bunch more Democrats that are pushing for banning members of Congress from trading stocks, but there are some Republicans. Sure. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead here really, really quickly. Let me show you. There is a bill in Congress right now that has been introduced. It was drafted back in 2020. That, hey, we want to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. This was U.S. Representative Emanuel Cleaver, joined Representative Seth Magenizer and Chip Roy, along with 43 other lawmakers in reintroducing the bipartisan, transparent representation upholding service and trust, which is the Trust Congress Act, which would effectively ban members of Congress, their spouses, their dependent children from trading individual stocks. To reduce opportunities for insider trading among members of Congress, the Trust Act would require lawmakers and their immediate family to either divest from individual stock holdings or move their investments into a qualified blind trust during their entire tenure in Congress, ensuring that they cannot profit off of non-public information provided to lawmakers. And, Emanuel Cleaver put it exactly right. Just as we prevent athletes from betting on games in which they participate and have a direct impact, so should we, as members of Congress, we shouldn't be able to trade stocks on information that's not privy to the public. And I'm like, that is spot on. And what this does is it requires all members of Congress, their spouses, and their dependent children to divest their stocks, meaning that they can't trade stocks on the market. And you say, oh, well, it's not, then that's not freedom. That's not freedom. Well, here's the thing. They are receiving an advantage. They are our lawmakers. They receive non-private, private information about how the market's going to perform, and they can outperform the stock market every single time. It doesn't matter their political affiliation. Doesn't matter if it's Virginia Fox, who is my former lawmaker when I was in college. She and Nancy Pelosi are the two biggest stock traders in Congress. One Republican, one Democrat. Doesn't matter. Put aside this blue-red crap. This is about corruption. This is about absolute corruption. But I will say, it is more Democrats that are actually trying to tackle this issue. And the fact that there are Republican MAGA bootlickers that are saying that this is not an issue, get your head in the game. This is about the top versus the bottom. This is about the elite ripping off everyone. When you say drain the swamp, this is the grand poobah of swamp creatures. This issue. Like, we need to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. And now I'm going to actually read off the list of all the different lawmakers who have co-sponsored. For those people who do not know, co-sponsor means that you have signed on to, endorsed, said that you are a staunch supporter of the legislation. Now, this is bipartisan. Though I also want to point out that there are way more Democrats that have signed off on this. And I don't know if everyone knows who their congressional representative is, but I'm going to go through and read the whole list out here. So if you are curious and going to look at this bill, it is H.R. 396. It's the Trust in Congress Act. I'm kind of confused at some of who's the original sponsor. This has Seth Magonizer, who is a Democrat from Rhode Island. And you also have Emmanuel Cleaver. But let me also just give you the list here. So Chip Roy, he is a Republican. Juan Ciscomani, Republican. Eli Crane, a Republican. Those are 3 Republicans out of the 11. I want to point out, there are 52 Democrats that have co-sponsored, signed on to, endorsed this legislation, 11 Republicans. Cool that it's bipartisan. But what does this really show about who really wants to tackle corruption? Not saying the Democrats are perfect. Not by any means. I'm a progressive and I call them out all the time. But when you really look at it, why are there only 11 Republicans to 52 Democrats? Is it because Democrats are more concerned about trying to actually tackle the system? Yes, that's how it is. Not that they're perfect. Not that they're perfect at all. So I'm just going to actually go down the list here. So Chip Roy, Republican from Texas, 21st Congressional District. Alma Adams, Democrat from North Carolina's 12th Congressional District. Put in the chat who your lawmaker is. And I'm going to be reading out this list. So you can see if your member of Congress endorses this. And feel free to phone them and say, hey, because of everything happening, we need to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. I need to know that you're going to support this legislation if it were to ever come to the floor. Don Baer, who is a Democrat for Virginia's 8th Congressional District. Greg Casar, who is a Democrat from Texas's 35th Congressional District. Juan Ciscomani, a Republican from Arizona's 6th Congressional District. Emmanuel Cleaver, a Democrat from Missouri from the 5th Congressional District. Angie Craig, a Democrat from Minnesota, 2nd Congressional District. Eli Crane, a Republican from Arizona's 2nd Congressional District. Jason Crow, Democrat from Colorado's 6th Congressional District. Sharice Davids, Democrat from Kansas's 3rd Congressional District. Susan K. Delbeni, Democrat from Washington's 1st Congressional District. Christopher DeLuzio, who I've actually met, he seems cool, Democrat from Pennsylvania's 17th Congressional District. Robert Garcia, Democrat from California's 42nd Congressional District. Jared Goldman, a Democrat from Maine's 2nd Congressional District. Josh Gottheimer, Democrat from New Jersey's 5th Congressional District. Chrissy Houlihan, Democrat from Pennsylvania's 6th Congressional District. This is just one, that's just one part of it. You also have, I'm actually just going to say the names. Jared Huffman, Democrat from California. Dusty Johnson, a Republican from South Dakota, at large. William Keating, Democrat from Massachusetts. Young Kim, Republican from California. Greg Landsman, Democrat from Ohio. Michael Lawler, a Republican from New York. So are any of these lawmakers your lawmaker? Because then they have co-sponsored and signed on to saying, hey, we don't want members of Congress in trading stocks. Also, if you're enjoying the live stream, please smash that subscribe button and please send some likes. It means a lot. I'm trying to build myself up in this progressive media space. It's not easy. There are a lot of grifters within this like independent media space. I'm thinking about trying to rebrand it as the critical media space. So I hope that you're with me on that. So Mike Lawler, Republican from New York. But then also you have Teresa Ledger Fernandez, Democrat from New Mexico, who has endorsed this legislation saying, hey, we should not allow members of Congress or government officials to trade stocks. Mike Levin, Democrat from California. Nancy Mace, who I'm not a big fan of, but credit where credit is due, Republican from South Carolina. Betty McCollum, Democrat from Minnesota. Frank J. Mervan, Democrat from Indiana. Gregory Murphy, a Republican from North Carolina. Jerry Nadler, Democrat from New York. Joe Neguse, Democrat from Colorado. Eleanor Norton Holmes, Democrat from D.C. at large. Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, Democrat from Washington. Scott Perry, Republican from Pennsylvania. And this list goes on and on. Brittany Peterson, Mark Pocan, Andrea Salinas, Mickey Sherrill, Eric Sorensen, Greg Stanton, Haley Stevens, Dina Titus, Paul Tonko, Gabe Vasquez, Nikema Williams, Ryan McKenzie, Chris Papas, Val Hoyle, Laura Friedman, Madeline Dean, Zachary Nunn, Marcy Captor, Sarah McBride, who I love Sarah McBride, Sarah Elfreth, Don Davis, Maxine Dexter, Morgan McGarvey, Rashida Tlaib, Delia Ramirez, John Manion, Chewy Garcia, Summer Lee, Stephen Hornsford, and Yasemin Ansari. These are all people who have said, yes, members of Congress should not be trading stocks. We should stop them from doing that. That is insider trading. It needs to end. Insider trading is already supposedly illegal, but at the same time, it's not enforced. To the point where these people should be locked up for their insider trading. But we also just need to ban members of Congress themselves from trading stocks because they can profit off of this. They can profit off of information that's not known to the public. I did a live stream even like a year or so ago about this exact problem. And, I really just want, if I were to run for Congress, this is something that I would immediately be pressing on. Be like, look, we can't allow for there to be a rigged system where members of Congress can trade stocks about knowing, how different companies are going to perform because they receive private briefings about how companies are going to perform. That's not public. That's not privy to the public. And it creates a system of unfairness. Plus also, I want to point out here, there are people who are in Congress that focus on using their knowledge, using their office to make money. They're like, oh, I'm a member of Congress now. Now I'm privy to information about the market. What can I do about my stock portfolio? Meanwhile, their constituents are saying, hey, can you lower the prices for prescription drugs? Hey, can you actually tackle affordable housing in my district? Hey, can we actually make sure the roads are paved and not like completely lumpy? I don't know if lumpy is the right word for that, but you know what I mean. The more that members of Congress will trade stocks, the less focused they are about the priorities of their constituents, their districts, which is the purpose of government. So this shouldn't be debatable. It shouldn't be debatable whether we need to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. I'll give credit. AOC and Matt Gaetz, at one point, were really trying to lean into like, hey, we need to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. And again, I give credit to all the lawmakers who are on here. Now, it was 11 Republicans, 52 Democrats. Kind of shows you which party really cares more about trying to take on the establishment, take on the elite in this country. But I will say, it's easy for a lawmaker, so one check on that. It's easy for a lawmaker to just throw their name co-sponsoring a piece of legislation. It's another thing for them to actively fight for that legislation to make it to the floor. Because you can say that you support something, but if you secretly kind of stop it from getting to the floor, then that's a whole nother thing. So I do want to provide that check there as well. Wow, we have 500 of you in here. That's awesome. If this is your first time viewing me, my name is Scott. I am an independent news journalist, but independent media is such a misnomer these days because so many people are funded by whatever, especially the far right-wing media. So I'm going to try and rebrand it as I'm a part of critical media. I'm critical of everything. My own party, everyone else. I'm critical of corruption, all of it, okay? We are critical thinkers here. And I've actually been working on setting up my membership tiers because I'm trying to fund my work. So that's going to be released hopefully on Monday, fingers crossed. I'm thinking about having 3 different membership tiers. So I appreciate every single one of you that's here. If you are new here, say hello and where you're tuning in from. Just as a quick little housekeeping thing, don't be obnoxious in the chat. Don't. If you want to use your First Amendment rights to spew hate, sure, go ahead. But you're going to be muted and you're going to be blocked. That's just how it is. Your freedom of speech does come with consequences. It's not absolute. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. So if you are someone that is trying to use your free speech to put down other people, myself or other people in the chat, or just be obnoxious, then sorry, you are going to be muted and blocked. If you want to cry about it, then sorry, I'm not here to listen to your tears. Boom, got it, cool, thanks. And secondly, if you spread misinformation, then you will be muted and blocked. Sorry, we don't tolerate misinformation. We can have a difference of opinion when it comes to pineapple on pizza, when it comes to whether we like Harry Potter or not. That's a debate. That is having a discussion over your opinion. Know what is up for debate and what is not up for debate. Facts are not up for debate. They're not. The climate is changing. The earth is getting warmer. That is an objective fact. Now, a debate can be, how are we going to tackle it? What do we need to do to fix it? What do we need to do to mitigate it? That is a debate. We can have a debate over Donald Trump and his character. But we can't have a debate over the fact that Donald Trump won the 2024 election or that Biden won the 2020 election. That's not up for debate. What is up for debate is how, if it's been good, if it's been bad. So if you are spreading misinformation, objective falsehoods in the chat, you will be muted, you will be blocked. Don't come to me and claim that I am somehow a snowflake by making you realize that there are consequences for your bad behavior. Get it? Got it? Good. Cool. Now, speaking on all of this whole thing that's been happening with Donald Trump, specifically causing the fire of using these tariffs to plummet the stock market, and then all of a sudden, because he's an opportunistic person, just completely switching it all up and then allowing that switch to then surge the market, him and his small cabal group of buddies all started profiting. He literally even was on video being like, this guy made 2.5 billion, this guy made 900 million, and, you know, it's fantastic, it's great, we love it. Now, in this video, for those people who do not know, you may have seen it circulating around. President Donald Trump gleefully recounted how much money his billionaire pals made on the stock market after he suddenly suspended most of his worldwide tariffs. Stocks zoomed Wednesday after Trump pulled the plug on the tariffs. This is a great time to buy, he urged on Truth Social. Just before he announced before the 90-day pause. Now, this is the picture here. People he's pointing to are these two different people are Charles Schwab, who's like the financial dude guy, and then NASCAR team owner Roger Penske. They were pointing, I don't know which made which amount of money, but now the quote is he made 2.5 million and then he made 900 million. When I listen to the video, I hear billion with a B for the 2.5. I'm not sure if I'm just not hearing it correctly, but I'm thinking it sounds like billion because he accentuates the million part. But anyway, but he was going through and just bragging about how his friends made a whole bunch of money. Bloomberg reported Wednesday that this was the best day ever for billionaires, and the world's wealthiest people raked in $304 billion as the markets rocketed back up. The Wednesday windfalls triggered accusations of market manipulation and insider trading as Trump critics accused the president of tipping off his well-heeled friends to buy, knowing that the suspension of tariffs on his order would boost stock prices. It's opportunistic at its finest. California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff is calling for a congressional investigation. Arizona Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego joined in Schiff, signing a letter sent to the White House Thursday morning to request an urgent inquiry into whether President Trump, his family, or other members members of the administration engaged in insider trading or other illegal financial transactions with advanced knowledge of non-public information of the tariff or policy change. Let me paint a picture in your brain about this exact moment. If you're confused about how this is all working, let me give you a perfect analogy. Let's say that your neighbor goes out of town, and your neighbor leaves for about a couple days. You and your friends just completely go and ransack their house. Your actions lead to destruction of their property, papers everywhere, glass shattered, things broken, okay? And then your neighbor comes back and they're like, oh my God, my house has been ransacked. It's been vandalized. You know, this is awful. And then you say, oh, well, that's awful. Who would do this kind of thing? In fact, you know what? Here's my card. I have a professional cleaning service and I can absolutely help you with that. I mean, actually, knowing that you're my neighbor and the fact that this is just such an awful thing, I'll even throw in a discount of 25%. Because this is just an awful, awful thing. That's what Donald Trump just did with the stock market. His actions, his tariffs just completely plummeted people's 401ks, their retirement wrapped up in how some of that performs. His actions go through and just plummet it. Then he's like, oh, well, I'm going to inflate it back up because I'm going to stop doing this bad thing. Only he knew that he was going to do that. Or also maybe his small group of friends. Point is, people should not be applauding or happy or celebrate when if you start a fire and the house starts burning down, then you call the fire department and be like, oh, I called the fire department. I'm a hero. You're the one that started the fire. Am I supposed to applaud you? There are real people who have been hurt by this kind of crap. And I'm just so over it. I'm so over MAGA people just completely lapping it up like dogs. Do you want to be Donald Trump one day? That's what this all really is. All you want to do is you will give him a pass for him to be the most corrupt person in history because one day, maybe, just maybe, you're going to be that person. Think of it like this. Assume your own agency. Think critically for yourself. Don't just worship a politician. Don't just worship a politician. I critique everyone. That's why I want to be a part of trying to rename independent media critical media. Because you critique everyone. You call out everyone. You call a spade. You will give credit where credit is due, and criticism where criticism is warranted. Right now, you have people that just completely propagandize for whoever. It is disgusting the fact that you have all these people that will take money from XYZ corporation or XYZ group or XYZ government in order to just, for their own benefit? No. We need a robust media apparatus that actually cares about informing people. You can disagree with my takes, my opinions, sure. But this information is not up for debate. This is what he objectively did. He tanks the stock market in order to then reverse it so that him and his friends can just get wealthy, and puts out a little post saying, buy now. And it leads to a huge surge in gains. And somehow there are some people who think that it's okay for him to do that because he's a Republican. It wouldn't be okay for a Democrat to do it. Which, yes, it wouldn't be. It's not about party. It's about principle. It is about what he has done. Donald Trump should be removed from office for this. I'm saying that full-heartedly with my chest. In our Constitution, it talks about high crimes and misdemeanors. High crimes and misdemeanors. If you go through and commit a high crime and misdemeanors, you should be removed from office. Donald Trump literally causing a stock market crash in order to profit off of the crisis itself. Him being the one person that can fix the situation, thereby profiting off of it. Completely just doing a 180. That is high crimes and misdemeanors. Using people's retirements and 401ks as collateral damage to hold it hostage in order to pump up and get your insider friends more money. Not only is that just corruption, but aren't you supposed to be there serving the American people, doing something to physically help them? No. He's not there to help you. He is there to profit off of you. I'm saying this again as someone who grew up as a Christian conservative MAGA person. They're not there trying to care for you. They're there trying to manipulate and profit off of you. You know what's so funny? They say, oh, you're in a cult, you're in a cult, you're in a cult. It's just like, to Democrats, it's like, do you see what you're wearing? You literally have every single piece of merchandise by him. 15 hats, 500, like, not 500, 15 hats, 37 shirts. You have like all of this just to do what? Praise Trump? Girl, stop worshiping politicians. Stop praising politicians. Stop treating them like they are immune from criticism. America was founded on holding leaders accountable. As flawed as our founding was, us stealing the land from the Native Americans, completely just giving them smallpox blankets and forcing them off their land, the idea was that we were creating a country that was by and for people. Also, I mean, it was left out many groups of people. Point is, it was created upon this idea of holding people accountable, creating a government of leaders that hold others and you hold them accountable. Instead of praising a politician, you should be holding them at their word. If/when I ever run for Congress, I want people to be like, Scott, you said you were going to do this. I need to see evidence of you fighting for this. And I'll be like, that's very fair. If you vote for me, I take that as a responsibility for me to deliver on what I said I was going to do. It's just baffling to me how in this country you have a cult, MAGA, who just completely doesn't have any principle other than licking the boots of Donald Trump. You should be ashamed if you are one of those people. You strip yourself of your own agency, your own identity, your own critical thinking to do what? Be a useless vessel for one of the wealthiest people in the world who just whines on social media all day, literally rage typing? Dude. Stop and have some respect for yourself. Stop and have some respect for yourself. There are progressive Democrats out here who want you to have free healthcare, who want you to be able to not go bankrupt over trying to afford your prescriptions at your house. And yet you call us snowflakes. Yet you call us whatever names. Like yesterday, I saw in the chat here, people were like trying to call me gay as an insult. First off, I am girly pop, but also like that's like what? It's just insane to me. I'm not your enemy. I'm your fellow American, just trying to inform you about the corruption that we are seeing. I am not your enemy. If you really want to have an enemy, it's the super wealthy, rich people at the top. Whether they're some sort of dangerous Hollywood elitist, which I'm sure there are some people, whatever. But then also, it's important to point out, it's really just the top versus the bottom. It is the elite wealthy establishment versus the rest of us. This country is supposed to give everyone a fair shake. That's what we were founded upon. So why don't we actually live in a country that actually lives up to its word, its expectations? So, I love all of you. Moderators, I don't have the chat showing, so if you need to inform me about something, just text me. For all my moderators in here, and shout out to all my mods in here. Y'all do great work. Kate, love you. Elisa, you're incredible. Cherie, love you. Akicha, Joanna Tech, Ellie. I could not do any of this without you all. I really couldn't. Jenny, love you, Jenny. So, all that being said, Democrats are calling for an investigation into this whole situation, and good, they should. I think Donald Trump should be removed from office because of this whole thing. He's profiting off of this insider information. This is literally the worst aspects of government. This is profiting off of government. This is the exact thing that is not supposed to happen in government, yet it does. And I just want to share some memes here. And this is MAGA's cult. They say tariffs are really good actually, but it's also good that they're being paused for 90 days, or if they don't happen at all. It's like, Do you have an ideology? Do you have a belief system? Do you actually think tariffs are good or bad? Do you have any critical thoughts about it? Any independent thoughts about it? The answer is no. The answer is no. I just cut myself. I just cut myself on my car. See, I'm drawing blood. I'm drawing blood. There's this like thing in my car that's a little bit broken. So I just cut myself. I'm funny. Let me show you some other memes here. I like this one. We use the word panikins now. As soon as Donald Trump comes up with one word, all of a sudden they all start using the same word. It's wild to me. It's just absolutely wild to me. But also, like, looking at the situation more, this is what happens when you base your entire political opinions on a guy who is prone to changing his mind. Like, rather than your own experiences. Rather than your own experiences. It's incredible to me. He's not even hiding the fact that it wasn't about the tariffs themselves, but about manipulating the market and making a lot of money using his power. That's exactly how Russia has operated for decades. Looks like oligarchy has finally made its way to the United States too. I think it's been here. He's not even hiding it. He doesn't even effing care. This is what happens when you get a confected felon blanket immunity and put him in the most powerful office in the world. I mean, it's just facts. And you know, it's also funny. There was this one person that posted this thing being like, Nancy Pelosi just sold $3 million in Google stock. The DOJ should look into her. It's like, yeah, they should. Absolutely. If you want to hold him accountable, hold him accountable. You're not going to see me cry about it. You think Democrats are going to pick and choose when we want to enforce what is convenient or not? Like, to the MAGA people out there, do you think that we are going to, if we're going to say we should ban members of Congress from trading stocks, or that members of Congress shouldn't be able to trade stocks, do we think that there's an exception for Democrats? No. No. This is supposed to be universal, all across the board. This isn't supposed, like, it's not going to be, if I say that there is corruption, if I say that no lawmakers should be having classified documents in their home or in their office or places outside of the federal archives or anything like that, you think that I'm supposed to just like pick and choose based on someone's political affiliation, that I'm going to be like, oh, well, you're a Democrat, that's different? No. Do you really think that I'm like, that people are that unprincipled? Or is that really just because you think people are that unprincipled, it's really just you being that unprincipled? Every single accusation really becomes a confession when it comes to MAGA people not having an ideology. It's really fascinating. You can have an ideology. This is your moment to change. This is your moment to look at this and be like, you know what? This kid has a point. This guy actually really makes sense. Yeah. Welcome to the crew. So, some of these memes were just absolutely, like, spot on. The fact that he imposed these tariffs then eased them is madness itself. It really fuels speculation that this was all intentional, to buy stocks cheap and sell high later at the expense of people's welfare. 100%. 100%. And what's interesting is the MAGA cult, they know their assignment is just to do whatever Trump says. So, like, meanwhile, the rest of America, and the stock markets fall, art of the deal. And then, like, you see Panikins were wrong. Panikins were wrong. As soon as the stock market goes up, and then it goes down, art of the deal. And then it goes up, Panikins were wrong. It goes down, art of the deal. It's very, again, heads I win, tails you lose politics. That's what MAGA is all about. That's what it's all about. They don't have any ideology. They don't have any belief system. This is why it's so dangerous. Because it's only about opportunism. That's what Trump really is. MAGA, literally, if you peel back whatever patriotism garbage crap, it's all just about opportunism for him. It's all about opportunism for him. Whatever is going to make him a quick buck. Why else do you think he sells like $900 sneakers? It's gross. It's all opportunism. There are many people who elect to be a part of that opportunism. He took a rural part of America and just used them as his useless vessel for his army. If you're a part of that, I'm sorry, you're being used. You deserve better. That's what it really is. Also, I find this funny. I'm adding tariffs. This will create jobs. I'm removing tariffs. Art of the deal. I'm adding tariffs. This will create jobs. I'm removing tariffs. Art of the deal. I truly wonder, and I'd be interested to launch a poll here for everyone in here. And if this is your first time viewing me, my name is Scott. I'm a critical news journalist. So please make sure to smash that subscribe button. It means a lot. I actually have a good question in here. For people, do you think that MAGA generally knows that they're being hypocrites and embrace that as part of their whole brand or ideology? Or do you think that they don't realize it at all? They don't actually see the hypocrisy? I'm just curious. If you think, let me break it down here. If you think that MAGA sees the hypocrisy of their brand and embrace it, then just type the word embrace. If you think that they don't see the hypocrisy of their brand, then just say don't see in the chat. So one option is embrace, the other one is don't see. Which do you think it is? I'm prepared to be embarrassed if no one actually messages anything. But do you think that MAGA embraces hypocrisy as their brand? And they see it and they embrace it. They're like, I don't care. I'm opportunistic. Or do you think they truly don't understand the whole structure of it and just say, no, they don't see it. They don't see it. Wow, there are a lot of wild people in here. It's so funny because there are people who are asking questions. If you were just to stop typing and listen for a sec, you might have them answered. I see people say embrace. Yeah. I'm thinking that they embrace it as their brand. That's where I lean into it, but I think that some people truly don't see it. They don't see it. I don't think that they actually see it. That all being said, just breaking all of this further down here, for those people who might just be tuning in, Donald Trump literally just absolutely crashes. Let me actually read what Representative Stephen Horsford actually wrote down. This is a timeline of what has happened. Let's break down what happened in America today. This was back on the 9th. At 9:37 a.m., Trump told his followers, buy stocks. This is a great time to buy. Great time to buy. Then the markets opened in chaos. He doubled down on tariffs, and the country's trade rep was set to testify before the Ways and Means Committee today. Trump's tariffs have been a disaster, and I was ready to stand up for Nevadans and hardworking people all across the country. A few minutes before I was set to speak, a staffer informed the trade representative that Trump had changed his mind, seemingly without telling anyone, not even the highest-ranking trade official. Almost immediately after the announcement, the market soared. This is grifting at its finest. It's reckless governing, and it's designed to make billionaires richer while the rest of us pay the price. I asked Representative Greer how this happened. I can't play the video on here. So the trade representative hasn't spoken to POTUS about the global reordering of trade, but yet announced it on a tweet. WTF, who is in charge? I want to point out how much of insider trading this is. Let's do an exercise in critical thinking. Put aside that it's Trump. Completely just remove him from that situation. Put that it's Kamala Harris who does this. Let's say that Kamala Harris decides, you know what, we're going to do all these tariffs. We're just going to do mass widespread tariffs. The stock market starts plummeting. Fox News starts rampaging and saying this is awful. People's 401ks, people's retirement are doing really, really poorly, really, really bad. We can't have this. This is awful. This is what we get with DEI. This is what we get with, this is what we get with woke policies. They would be doing all of that crap. That's where they would go. And then all of a sudden, let's say that Kamala Harris were to say, you know what, I'm going to pause the tariffs. I'm going to pause the tariffs. And it's well, why did you do them in the first place? Why'd you do them in the first place? And then it it comes to light that, oh, this was just a ploy to tank the stock markets in order to change them just so you could buy stock when it's low and then sell when it's high. Fox News would be going on and on about this. And look, pause. They would be right. They would be right if they are critical of that situation. Now, take out Kamala Harris, put back in Trump. You see their reaction now. You see the right wing's reaction now. Why is it that they change their mind? Why is it that they completely go against whatever they espouse to believe? It's because it's not about an ideology. It's not about a set of beliefs. It's not about a system of what you think, morality, of right and wrong. It's about opportunism. It's about opportunism. That's all it is. Again, I told this story yesterday, and I think I really want to lean into it again. So I am a double major in sustainable development and political science. I went to Appalachian State University. One day, while I was in one of my classes, it was judicial decision making. I had a fellow student, peer of mine. His name was Jacob. Jacob, he seemed decent enough. He was cool. It was a smaller class, so I got to know people pretty intimately. And he was from a rural part of North Carolina, Christian conservative. And I just was talking with him. And he said, well, if something negatively affects me, I'm going to make it the biggest stink ever. I'm going to make everyone care about the plight of my pain. I am going to go through and I'm just going to talk about how this hurts me and people should stop it. There's an injustice. And I'm like, oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. I said, I'd support you. I would, if I see a victim of something, I'm going to, support and help people. I said, okay, would you do the same if I were to then be a victim of that? He goes, no. And I'm like, huh? What? I said, if I were to be affected by the exact same thing that you were just doing and you were not. He said, well, I wouldn't care. I couldn't give a DA, I couldn't give a beaver damn. And I'm like, what? Huh? He goes, well, it doesn't benefit me, so I'm not going to care. I look at him, I say, okay, so if it benefits you to express your situation, you're going to make the biggest stink in the world. He goes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. Like, I'm going to make it into the biggest thing and I'm going to get everyone to care. I said, okay, but if it's me, you're like, then I'm not going to care. I could not care less. Whatever. And what was so baffling to me is this is a guy who was raised in a Christian home. That literally goes against the whole idea of religiosity being about love, or Christianity being about love. Shows how far it's fallen. And that's really what it comes down to. A lot of MAGA thinks that empathy is a weakness. They think that, oh, well, they're going to play by the rules. Meanwhile, we can rig it. We can rig it. How are you supposed to win against those people? You know what you do? You don't give them any power. You don't give them any power. You condemn that immorality for what it is. What it comes down to is that's all MAGA is. It's all opportunism. It's opportunism. It's unfair opportunism. Exploitation at its finest. That conversation I had with Jacob was back in 2018. And the reason why you see more and more powerful entities shifting further and further right is to capitulate to Trump because they don't want to challenge that power because they view themselves as being a part of the in club for whatever opportunism that is. Who cares if it marginalizes people of color, LGBTQ people, throws trans people under the bus, completely destroys the hopes and dreams of immigrants that want to become a part of this nation? Doesn't matter. It's about the opportunism. It's the worst aspects of American greed coming to fruition. We shouldn't allow for it in the country. We shouldn't. The idea of this country was to check those kinds of things, and we've literally gotten away from that. A good way to start by trying to do this is to ban insider trading. So those people who are looking at this situation, you're like, okay, yes, Trump crashes stock markets so that he could change his mind and profit off of it. Okay, what can we do? What can we do to fix this? I'll give you one big takeaway on how to fix this. But first, I need you all to help me grow the channel. Please make sure to smash that subscribe button. It means a lot to have you all here with me. I am a part of independent media, but independent media is not really independent. So I'm trying to rebrand it as I'm a part of critical media. Critical media is critical of everyone. They critique everything. They give credit where credit is due, and criticism where criticism is warranted. As a fun little tidbit, for those people who are familiar, I used to be a part of TYT. Oh, I could tell you stories. That all being said, it means a lot to have you all here. Please make sure to smash that subscribe button. My moderators do really, really good work. I love all of you. Cherie, you're incredible. Kate, love you. Akicha, Ellie, Jenny, Joanna Tech, I love you all so much. Lisa, I cannot do any of this without you all. So let's talk about what's one thing that we can do to fix this system. Ban members of Congress from trading stocks. So right now you're like, well, wait, I thought they were supposed to already not be able to. Oh no, members of Congress can fully trade stocks. You're like, but don't they receive information, like private information about how the market's going to perform? Yeah, absolutely. They receive private information about how, a pandemic is going to affect the country. You're like, well, how is that okay? It's like they get an advantage. So this is why we need to actually pass legislation to ban members of Congress, also ban presidents, ban all of these government officials from being able to trade stocks. Because what they do is they get elected and then they use their office, the resources they have in order to profit, not serve the American people. They put all of their time, they put a lot of time and investment into looking at their stock portfolios in order to then make money because they receive information that's not privy to the public. They go through and they make a whole bunch of money and then they leave. And it's maddening to me. It creates this system of absolute corruption and unfairness. The reason why we're supposed to have government is supposed to be a check on corruption. So insider trading is the buying or selling of securities based on confidential information about a company. It is illegal to do so. But members of Congress can trade stocks, even though they're privy to information, confidential information about how the stock market's going to perform. Like, how is it not illegal? Well, that's asking Congress to regulate itself. Are you going to tell a child to regulate their candy intake, or are you going to have to enforce it? See, that's the thing. Governments that rely on excessive self-discipline, it's really, really crazy to me. This is why we have the separation of powers in the first place. This is why we have checks and balances. They're supposed to lean on each other and hold each other accountable. Yet that system has completely been eroded. It's been eroding for the longest time, but especially under Trump, he just ignores the judicial branch. Congress just gives him more power. It's literally going against what the founders wanted. Founders were not perfect. Though the system that they set up was ideally supposed to be like that. But anyway. So a great step in order to stop this kind of corruption is banning members of Congress from trading stocks. And insider trading is when you buy and sell securities based on information that's inaccessible to the general public, you and me. It can be material non-public information, abbreviated as MNPI. It's financial information about publicly traded company or security, or stocks or EFT or ETFs, all of that. And I just want to point out that lawmakers like Marjorie Taylor Greene just went through and just bought a whole bunch of different stuff and just profited off of all of this. She's only just one person. This is a bipartisan problem. But just pointing out that she made a whole bunch of money by buying and selling certain stock. This is why we need to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. Right now, there's a bill. There's a bill in the House to do this. Representative Cleaver, a Democrat from Missouri, introduces bipartisan legislation to ban stock trading among members of Congress. This should be illegal. We should ban members of Congress from trading stocks. This is back on January 15th of this year. This has been a bill that has been drafted for the longest time. I mean, I don't think the language has even changed from 2020. It's not changed from 2020. I wish that we were to have been able to pass this when Democrats had the House. I don't know why they didn't. Maybe they prioritized other things, but this is something that they should have done. But also for those people who are like, okay, Scott, that's kind of unfair on them. Well, Republicans haven't even tried. Republicans haven't even tried. So yeah, don't come at me with the both sides are a bad issue. Oh, I know. If you were to look at the co-sponsors of this legislation, co-sponsor means like someone who endorses the bill. It's really like 52 Democrats to 11 Republicans. Now, I'm grateful for anyone that co-sponsors a bill that bans members of Congress from trading stocks and doing what Trump just did with the stock market. But let me also just be clear on, if you want to talk about the corruption monetarily happening in this country, you recognize the Democratic Party is not perfect, but they are significantly better. And harm mitigation is alone a reason to support them, but also at the same time, not to worship them. Unlike MAGA, who worships whatever, what Donald Trump does. So this act is called the Trust in Congress Act. It bans members of Congress from trading stocks. The trust part is abbreviated for transparent representation, upholding service and trust in Congress, which effectively ban members of Congress, their spouses, and their dependent children from being able to trade stocks. It would require the immediate family to either divest from individual stock holdings into a qualified blind trust during their tenure in Congress, ensuring that they cannot profit off of non-public information provided to lawmakers. Just as athletes themselves cannot bet on a game in which they participate, the same way that members of Congress should not be able to trade stocks on non-public information that they are privy to. This require all members of Congress, their spouses, and their dependent children to divest, put things in a blind trust. And they goes through and has a lot more specifics, but I want to, if you all know who your member of Congress is, put it in the chat below. I'm going to read out who has endorsed this as a member of Congress. My member of Congress, sadly, is not up here, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to read out the list. Do you all know who your member of Congress is? Put it in the chat here if you know who your member of Congress is. Whether a Republican, Democrat, Independent, doesn't matter. Just put your member of Congress in the chat. I'm about to read out who has endorsed this piece of legislation. I'm going to start out by reading the 52 Democrats that co-sponsored this legislation, the 11 Republicans and then to the 11 Republicans. The Democrats that support it: Alma Adams, a Democrat from North Carolina; Don Bayer, Democrat from Virginia; Greg Casar, Democrat from Texas; Emmanuel Cleaver, Democrat from Missouri; Annie Craig, Democrat from Minnesota; Jason Crow, Democrat from Colorado; Sharice Davids, Democrat from Kansas; Susan DelBene, Democrat from Washington; Christopher DeLuzio, Democrat from Pennsylvania; Robert Garcia, Democrat from California; Jared Golden, Democrat from Maine; Josh Gottheimer, Democrat from New Jersey; Chrissy Houlihan, Democrat from Pennsylvania. Are any of those your lawmakers? Jared Huffman, Democrat from California; William Keating, Democrat from Massachusetts; Greg Landsman, Democrat from Ohio; Teresa Ledger Fernandez, Democrat from New Mexico; Mike Levin, Democrat from California; Betty McCollum, Democrat from Minnesota; Frank Mervan, Democrat from Indiana. Then you have Jerry Nadler, Democrat from New York; Joe Neguse, Democrat from Colorado; Eleanor Holmes Norton, Democrat from D.C. at large; Marie Gluesenkamp Perez, Democrat from Washington; Brittany Peterson, from Colorado; Mark Pocan, Wisconsin; Andrea Salinas, Oregon; Mickey Sherrill, New Jersey; Eric Sorensen, Illinois; Greg Stanton, Arizona; Haley Stevens from Missouri. No, Michigan. Sorry. Dina Titus from New York. Dina Titus from Nevada. Paul Tonko from New York. Gabe Vasquez from New Mexico. Nikema Williams from Georgia. Chris Pappas from New Hampshire. Val Hoyle from Oregon. Laura Friedman from California. Madeline Dean from Pennsylvania. Marcy Kaptur from Ohio. Sarah McBride from Delaware. And then last page here, Sarah Elfreth from Maryland. Don Davis from North Carolina. Maxine Dexter from Oregon. Morgan McGarvey from Kentucky. Rashida Tlaib from Michigan. Delia Ramirez from Illinois. John Mannion, New York. Jesus Chuy Garcia from Illinois. Summer Lee, Pennsylvania. I know her. She's cool. Stephen Horsford from Nevada. And Yasmin Ansari from Arizona. Now, to the Republicans that support this legislation, which again, for members of Congress, banning members of Congress from trading stocks, there is this bill that is in Congress. Sorry, my green screen is really, really weird. Members of Congress and trying to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. 52 Democrats have co-sponsored, endorsed this piece of legislation. There are 11 Republicans. I'll give credit to the Republicans here. Chip Roy from Texas. Can't stand the man, but credit where credit is due. Juan Ciscomani from Arizona. Eli Crane from Arizona. Those are 3. And then Dusty Johnson from South Dakota at large. Young Kim from California. Mike Lawler from New York. Nancy Mace from South Carolina. Gregory Murphy from North Carolina here. Scott Perry from Pennsylvania. And then Ryan McKenzie from Pennsylvania. Zach Nunn from Iowa. And that's it. So those are all the members of Congress who have said no, members of Congress should not be trading stocks. Whew, I need to take a break here soon. I love all of you. But I hope that you all learned something from this live stream today. I am going to do a quick plug here. So of course, I work really, really hard to do what I do here on TikTok. I almost said here on TikTok. I used to do my live streams on TikTok, but that app is dying. So if you are looking to support me, definitely go through and click on DeFi Political Gear. I have my own merchandise page. I'll give you an example. I have I'm not a big fan of Elon Musk, so I have literally a hat that says F-Elon. I think it looks pretty cool. Also, I'm about to set up membership here on YouTube, so you can subscribe to be a member of the page. I'm trying to come up with creative titles for the different subscription tiers and what kind of perks you get. So I've been working on setting all of that up. I'm thinking, and I would love y'all's feedback. I'm thinking of having 3 levels. The first is going to be, it's going to be kind of just intro. The second, I'm thinking of calling it the press pass, because that means that you get access to the members only videos, or the subscriber only videos, member only videos and live streams. And then also I'm thinking about the highest tier being what I call the editor's circle. And that means that, I will go to you for advice and consult, because some of my good friends here and moderators in here, I go to them for advice about how I'm going to do everything here. So I'm thinking about calling that the editor's circle. So I'm currently working all of that out. But how that relates to merchandise, I'm thinking about having a discount code for people that are part of the editor's circle. So if you're looking to support me in what I do, I am trying to build this as a business up from the ground. Think of it as something similar to what Brian Tyler Cohen does, or Zeteo with Mehdi Hassan, or anything like Secular Talk, Humanist Report, Rational National, stuff like that. I'm trying to build up a community here and be a part of critical media. So it means a lot for you all to support me. If you are interested in doing that, please go to my profile and click on DeFi Political Gear. Let me know what you think. Also, if you have a custom piece of merchandise, anything that you're I really want this to be made, I'll make it for you. And I'll put it on the website. So I love all of you. Just to kind of show it, put it out there, I have lots of F-Elon as a design. I really like my Who Elected Elon Musk hat. A lot of it is centered around him. But I'm planning on doing a FAFO collection at some point. So all of it is pretty cool. I also have my iconic quote shirts. I know there are a couple people who are still waiting on theirs, so I'm sorry about that. It's taking a while. But I think it's a pretty cute design. It's my own little unique thing. So, how was the live stream today, y'all? I love all of you, even if you hate me. Because it's crazy. Sometimes it can be really crazy in the chat. So, shout out to my amazing moderators in here. Joanna Tech, you're incredible. Ellie, Akicha, Cherie, Elisa, Jenny, I couldn't do any of this without you all. I really couldn't. Like, Kate, love you. You're incredible. All of you are so amazing. So it means a lot to have y'all's support. We had a lot of people in the live stream today. So, also, but I'm about to be setting up membership tiers for the live stream. Something that I want to do is also have super chats and read out super chats when I'm doing the live stream. So, that's something that I'm also planning on doing once I add in those things. So if you have any ideas about that, reach out. So anyway, I love all of you so much. So only those who don't have an argument left devolve to name calling and petty comments. Yeah, no, seriously. That's really. So anyway, I love all of you so much. Oh, so refreshing hearing something different. Oh, well, you're welcome. Cool. Anyway, just remember that you are beautiful. You are loved. You are valid. You are strong. And you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever, 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 ever dim your shine. I love all of you so much. Bye.